Hi, I'm Georgia, and today's letter of the week is the letter N.
Play, play, play along. Come on and play along. Play, play, play along. Come on and play along.
So today's letter is the letter N. And to make an N, you put 2 fingers over your thumb. Remember last week was the letter M with 3 fingers? Well, the letter N has 2 fingers over. Sort of like that cursive N. If you were to do a small N, it has 2 humps, so you put 2 fingers over your thumb. And N is a single sound consonant. It makes a sound of N. N. So most of the time when you see a word with the letter N, you're going to make that sound of N. And today we're going to be doing lots of words that start with the letter N, and our first one is a sign for nose. Nose. You're just going to touch your nose. You point to your nose. Now remember last week when we did the letter M and we did the sign for mouse? That's where you flick your nose twice. So if you're going to sign nose, don't do that because you're going to be signing mouse. You just point to your nose. And here's the sign for nice. Nice. I like to have a nice cup of tea every evening for dinner. Now the sign for next door, and it's kind of a combination sign. So you're going to put one flat hand here, one hand here, and you're going to move this hand over. So it's like next door. So if you were going to go next door to borrow a cup of sugar, you would go there. And if you're going to go to your next door neighbor's house, or to go visit your next door neighbor, this is like the signifier for person. So the sign for neighbor is you're going to go combination of next door and person. So this is a sign for neighbor. I have a very nice neighbor. Her name is Leanne. And the sign for near, you put one hand out here and the other hand is going to come up behind it and it's going to come near it. This is a sign for near. Now our next word, notice it's 12 o'clock on this picture because that would be noon. Noon. The hands of the clock are straight up and the sun is straight up. This is a sign for noon. And when we did the letter M, we did the sign for morning. Morning was the sun was coming up. Remember that? And now this next one, the sign for night, is the sun is going down. So we have a morning, noon, and now we have night. The sign for no. No. And that's kind of, your face is important here because if it's like, ooh, no, you have to, your face has to kind of match your sign here. So if it's like, no, but if it's really a no, your face has to show that. The sign for not, as in, no, not I, you know, this is, you take your thumb underneath your chin and you come out here. And again, your face just got, no, not me, no. For never, and again, we have a lot of N words that don't have pictures, sorry, but the sign for never, you're going to take this hand and you're going to come up and go down. Never. I never want to get the measles. Ooh, no, never. The sign for name, you take 2 H hands, this would be H, 2 fingers here, 2 fingers here, and you're going to tap them together. This is the sign for name. So my name is Georgia. The sign for new, you put one hand out here and you're going to scoop this one up. This is a sign for new. New. I would like to get a new car, but not now. Okay, this is a sign for now. You put, this is the letter Y, you're going to put them like this and you're going to come down here. So this is a sign for now. The sign for nut, you take your thumb under your teeth and you're going to like flick your teeth there twice. This is a sign for nut. Now, it could be all kinds of nuts. It could be walnuts or peanuts or cashews, but these are all different kinds of nuts. For noodle, now remember in the M we had macaroni? Well, that's a specific kind of noodle. For general noodle, you're going to take your little fingers like this and you're going to swirl them around. This is a sign for noodle. It's kind of a fun one. Noodle. And if you get food on your face, you need to have a napkin. So you're going to wipe your mouth. You can do it like this or you can do it like that. This is a sign for napkin. Now, ooh, look at this little girl. She's having a scary dream. This is a bad dream. It's a nightmare. So the sign for bad is here, and dream, you put your pointer finger up here by your head. It's like, ooh, you know, this is a bad dream. So this would be the sign for nightmare. Nightmare. Nurse. Okay, make that letter N and hold your hand out here, your arm, and you're going to tap where your pulse is, because a nurse will take your pulse right here on your arm. So this is a sign for nurse. Nurse. You have to go to school for and study really hard to be a good nurse. And nest is a two-part sign, because what's inside of a nest is an egg. Remember we did egg in the E week, and then like a little place for the egg to be. So the bird made a nest so that she could lay her eggs in it. Okay, so those are all of our N words. So I'm going to tell a little story using all of these N words. Okay? Okay, so here's the story using words with the letter N. Once upon a time, moved in right. Her name was Nancy, and she was it was really to have that lives so. Now I went to sleep and I had a terrible, it was so scary. I was screaming really loud and Nancy heard me. She came and pounded on my door and I woke up. Whew! I told her I had such a horrible as that. She asked me if I was okay. At first I said, but then I said, well, I am now that you're here. Then I asked her, would you like to have a snack? And she said, oh, that would be lovely to have a late snack with you. So I put out some, and I made some, and some tea to drink. We sat there talking about things, scary things, while we ate and drank our tea. I spilled some tea on the table, but fortunately I had right there so I could wipe it up. We said goodnight and I went back to sleep. The next day I went over to Nancy's house and put out some bird seed for this mama bird that had built in her window box, because do things for each other. And we lived happily ever after. Okay, so that was the letter N. And guess what? Next week is the letter O. So be sure you subscribe and watch our letter O for next week.
Play, play, play along. Come on and play along.